My husband's about to be home. He doesn't know that I cut my hair today. So please pray for me because I have a feeling he's going to hate it. And it's fine. It's not about him. But I'm going to try to film his reaction. I am legitimately a little terrified. But that's okay.
You should be feeling a bit terrified, not from the standpoint of your husband being abusive. That's a whole different story. So let me get that out there just in case someone might go there in their thinking. But you should be, dear wife, as you have stated. See, I know that maybe this reaction of the way I responded might be one where it's kind of off-putting. Well, hang in with me for a second because I want to kind of take this in a direction that you may not have thought about because this is way bigger than hair. I'm gonna prove it to you. It's way bigger than here because sometimes, and when I share with you in a few moments, some of the comments that were made by people who are seeing it all about hair, they missed it. And I don't want you to miss what it is being communicated here as well. This is about why so many husbands quietly check out of the marriage. Is it right? I'm not saying it is, but this is the reason why. And I want to help you understand what you might not fully understand. See, while wives, maybe you as a wife, scratch your head, or while wives scratch their heads, wondering what happened, I'm going to tell you what happened because this isn't just about here. It's about connection, attraction. Oh, he went there. Okay, hang in there for a second. It's connection, attraction, and how easily a marriage can get shaken when a wife doesn't realize how important her choices are to her husband. Now, I know this might have gotten you a bit stirred, and I'm glad it did because I really want to get your attention to share with you what's behind this, where so many wives and so many marriages today are experiencing unnecessary tension over things that may seem trivial, but it's not as trivial as you think. Hey, by the way, if you're here for the first time wondering who this person is, my name is Kingsley Grant. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, certified relationship coach, and a follower of Christ. I've counseled in my over 2 decades of doing this, thousands of spouses, many just like you. And let me tell you, if you want to know the real reasons husbands lose attraction, you're not going to find that in the world's advice. You're not going to find that in many other blogs and podcasts and other videos you're watching because they're going to tell you possibly things that would mm, kind of make you feel good and feel feels nice and feel warm and fuzzy. That's not what you're going to necessarily get here. Okay. So I want you to stick with me until the end, and I'll show you how to reconnect with your husband God's way. Plus, I'll give you a free booklet. I have a free booklet for you. Yes, I do. It's called Reconnect, a quick guide for wives who feel like they're doing it all. If that's something that interests you, I want you to encourage you to go. If you want to do that right now, go to buildyourhappiermarriage.com/waitlist. Sign up on the wait list because I want to invite you to my upcoming webinar and also to my 6 week biblical and evidence based coaching journey. So that interests you and get the booklet right away sent to you free of charge. Go ahead and do that right now. But also, while you're doing that, would you go ahead and subscribe to the channel? Hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up button, and make sure that you follow in and you engage in the comments below. I truly would appreciate that. Now, I think sometimes that we have a situation like this and we hear that one side, but we don't hear what comes after. How did it turn out? What happened when she told her husband, or her husband saw her, or if she hid her hair and then showed it to him? What was his response? Well, I'm going to let her tell you how her husband responded to what it is he saw and heard. Hear from the person's own mouth what happened. Let's check it out.
The short answer is that he absolutely hated it, and I think he hated me a little bit. He said he felt betrayed. He felt like I had cheated on him because it was such a drastic thing. I totally didn't think about how we're supposed to be attractive, stay attractive to each other, how looks are very important in a relationship.
Now, she said he used the word betrayed. And I wonder when he did, it sounded as if she was shocked by the choice of word. But that's how he felt. Betrayed. That's a heavy word, wouldn't you say? And sometimes a person might say, that is really not what it is. But again, it's what he experienced. And he wasn't just upset. He went as far as said he felt cheated on. Now, before you get too upset or too tightened about that, hang in there for a second, because like so many people in the comment section was just going away, just clicking away, and I could see those fingers really going hard, especially those progressives and those feminists and those who want to do away with old-fashioned marriage. And I wonder, how is that working out? Look at the statistics. I'm not here one to toot my own horn, and I'm not going to hold my marriage up as the perfect marriage, because it's not. But I've been married for 40 years, since 1985. Have it been perfect? No. Have we had our ups and downs? Yes. And many times over yes and yes and yes, just to make sure you understand that. But sometimes I find in the age we're living in and time, there's so many who are on the opposite side, who are against marriage God's way. Some has as if they know better than God. What does God know? What does he know? Oh, okay. The one who formed and created this thing. Oh, what does he know? It's like asking Elon Musk, what does he know about Tesla or Grok or any of those things, the SpaceX? What does he know? The person who kind of founded those things. I know there's a lot of story behind it. We're not going to get bogged down in that, but you get the point. So here is it, dear wife. Men don't separate attraction from respect. I know sometimes you may think this is kind of shallow. No, it's serious. Men are wired to be deeply connected to how their wives show up. Respect and attraction are tied together. When he says betrayed, he's really saying, I thought you were on my team, and now I'm not sure. See, culture screams, oh, he's insecure. That's what it is. He's so insecure. That's his issue. And by the comments that I read through and I scrolled through her comments, I saw a lot of that. But God's word says the heart of her husband trusts in her. Proverbs 31, verse 11. It speaks of the kind of wife that the husband, when he has that kind of wife, as described in Proverbs 31, the Bible says the heart of her husband trusts in her. He will close his eyes and go to sleep and not have to worry about things like this. So attraction and trust are connected. Break one and you weaken the other. Now, before you rush to judge him as shallow, I want you to listen to how she explains his reaction, but also listen to how she basically kind of threw him out there, which I think was very unwise on her part as well. See if you pick up on that part of what she had to say. Let's check this out.
Before you come after my husband, you can come after him. I don't care. It's fine. I get it, but I also do think his reaction was a little shallow. But he's entitled to that. He might have some grief and he'll get over it, or he won't, and it's okay. If he actually loves me for who I am, then he'll he'll see the change in my demeanor and in my mentality, my energy, and all of those things. He'll understand.
This is the clash. She wants him to love her for her energy and mentality, right? Her emotions, her feelings. He's wired to notice the visual. I mean, just here's what I think sometimes when you speak to another woman, another wife, and trying to have them understand your situation, your position. You know, I cannot tell you how many wives come to me for counseling or coaching, and I cannot tell you the amount of time I've heard these words. I've come to you because you are a man. You are a man, and I think you might give me a perspective that I don't get from another female because she just understands what she have learned, she've read, she've studied, but she would never get the heart and the mind of a man because she's not one. Just the same is true. I will never fully understand the mind of a woman because I'm not one. And I'm not going to pretend like I do. And that's why it is I'm speaking to you as a wife to help you understand, to better understand your husband. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why I wrote this book, The Joyful Wife, 7 connection skills to better understand your husband, rekindle love, and deepen intimacy is for reasons or times like this that I understand him and what he is all about because I'm like him. And so I'm trying to get you to bring you behind the curtain, so to speak, and show you what you're not seeing. So, men, we are wired to notice the visual. And I'm not making an excuse for, but that's why you find men are more the ones who will be looking at things they should not be looking at, pornography. When they see a beautiful woman, even when they're with their wife or girlfriend, they'll be looking off because they notice her. And sometimes it's not because he's attracted in her and not in you. I know it may feel that way, and I'm not making a case for that to be true and should be the case. No, I'm not. There's appropriate times, of course, right? And there are also disciplined behaviors. And I get that. But I just want to make you understand many times I hear so often from sometimes a husband is saying, I mean, he meant nothing by it. He just looked because she or whatever it caught his attention. That's how we're wired, right? We're wired to notice. We're wired to notice appearances. Again, doesn't mean that we want that appearance. We just that's how what it is. I'm so thankful that my wife and I we have this understanding. And one of the reasons why we've lasted for 40 years, I think because of this. Because she would tell me about her main man, her main actor. And she said, that's my man right there when she see Denzel Washington, right? And I'm thinking, oh man, I would just laugh it off and say, oh, I'm like Denzel. Come on, get your Denzel right here. We just laugh and joke about those things. And we've kind of gotten to know each other. And I don't get threatened by that. Even if you walk by her physically and down the street, man, I would not have to. Would not have to. So for me, when in the days, no, I mean, no longer, unfortunately, but in the days, Halle Berry was mine. So I would say to her many times when I see Halle Berry on the screen or someplace, so that's my woman right there. And we were jokingly about those things. And then of course, Thor, the guy who plays Thor is, all that kind of stuff. Not because she's interested in him or me in the Halle Berry's type. No, it's just what it is. An understanding and feeling secure. I'm doing a video soon where this wife, they've been married for 31 years, and she talked about this very thing that she doesn't get threatened by her husband when he likes another woman's picture. Why would she? She said, I don't need to. I got him, right? That's another story. I don't want to get off on that, but God wires us that way, right? So um, we want to understand their wife to value, I know you want your husband to value your soul, and he does, but God also wired him to value what he sees. That's not sin unless he acts out in a way that's inappropriate, right? That's design. That's how God designed him. So respect is more than words, right? It's also how you carry yourself, how you consider him in your decisions. When you dismiss his response as shallow, You're dismissing God's wiring in him. You're dismissing him. He doesn't see it as a separate thing. No, you're dismissing him. Now, the world's advice, right? The world's advice, as I mentioned before, as you'll see here, um, just so you can see how dangerous this gets at times, listen to the comments or watch these comments on the screen about what some other people are saying. You'll see something like, oh, he's not the one, sis, right? Oh, run now while you have a time. Hmm. File, baby. Go file your divorce paper. Just go ahead and file. It's your hair. He has no right to say anything. Oh, it's almost like what part of no you don't understand. That's the kind of thing she's hearing. That's what other women are responding to in the comment section. The names that appear by the comments, I don't see any men there. I mean, they say men, but I'm not going to show you what they say. But this is what progressive, liberal, feminist culture will tell you. Anti-God culture will tell you. And look where it's gotten us. Broken marriages, weak families, men and women at war, right? Men feeling emasculated. Women are saying we don't need men. On and on it went. Men are dads not in the home because of some things like these. And what happened? Our culture has run amok as a result of that. But God's word hasn't changed. The Bible said in Ephesians 5:33, it still says and still true, the wife must respect her husband. That's what God has said. I know. Yes, you're going to say, what about the husband? Isn't he supposed to love the wife as God also said? Yes, 100% yes. But we want to stay focused here, right? Respect isn't oppression. It's fuel. It's what makes your husband rise up to love, provide, and protect, and do what he does best, what he's been wired to do. So now watch what she says when he tries to understand why she did this. Let's watch.
He kept looking for a logical reason as to why I did this. I couldn't really give him one. And if you are a human, then I guess a human woman, then you know that men don't get intuition. They're not told. They're not taught about it. They're not told to act on it. And a lot of times women go through their whole life resisting their intuition. This was an intuitive decision. This was a very powerful knowing that it needed to happen.
She's not getting it because what he wants is not feelings. He wants facts. He wants clarity, right? This is a classic husband-wife divide. He's looking for logic. She's going on feelings. When he doesn't get a reason, he doesn't just feel confused. He feels dismissed. It's like his perspective doesn't matter. And when that happens through enough times, men shut down. Not because they don't care, not because their ego are they thin-skinned or but because they can't make sense of it. That's when attraction starts to fade. And here's how it gets played out at the end of the night, because this doesn't just stop here. It doesn't end right now. It continues. And in her case, it continues into the night. And here is what happened or didn't happen. Let's just watch and see what took place.
I started to try to give him some kind of logical reasons, and they weren't resonating with him at all. Just didn't get it. He didn't get it. And at the end of the night, I was because he didn't even come into our bedroom last night. He stayed out on the couch with our son, and I think he eventually came in the bedroom at some point. But before I went to bed, I told him that I loved him and that he won't understand, he can't understand, and that's okay. And he didn't say I love you back, but that's okay.
It's interesting. When I was watching that, I'm thinking, okay, did he sleep in the bed or did he not? I mean, you mean that she would not remember that? That's a side note. But you see how fast this spiraled? One choice, one moment, and now they're not even in the same room. Now he's on the couch. Dear wife, this isn't about here. I want to come back to that. It's not about here. It's about respect. Don't miss this. Yes, I do understand. Yes, the hair affects the attention, I'm sorry, the attraction, the physical aspect of it. Remember his visual. So I'm not going to say it doesn't play a part, but it's not all about that. It's about respect. Don't miss this. He's not rejecting her here. He's pulling back because he doesn't feel respected, considered, or safe with her. When you dismiss what matters to him, you drain attraction, like pulling the plug, pulling the plug on a bathtub. That water in the bathtub, you pull that plug. That's what tends to happen here. But when you begin to show your husband respect, even in small things, you fill his tank faster than anything else, right? I mentioned Ephesians 5:33. Again, the wife must respect her husband. Even if you think it's not a big deal, it might be a huge deal to him. It might be a huge deal to him. The fastest way, dear wife, to drain your husband's attraction is to dismiss what matters to him. The fastest way to fill his tank is to respect it. So here's the truth. Husbands don't lose attraction because they stop loving you. No, attraction doesn't disappear overnight. It dies in 1,000 little moments where he feels dismissed, disrespected, or unconsidered. Husbands lose attraction when they stop feeling respected by you. It's huge. It's huge. I mean, I did a video on this whole thing about respect, and I hope you watch that video. It's like right here. You'll see it where this woman herself talked about the issue and the importance of respect. It's worth watching if you haven't watched it yet. But here's the good news. Here's the good news. When I wrote my book to say there's good news, right? How to reconnect. 7 connection skills. And by the way, this is available on Amazon, and I had the link below in the description as well, just in case you're interested. Here's the good news. Respect can revive what you're missing. A wife who sees her husband, singular, honors him and respects him will have a man who rises to the occasion again and again. You will. So if you want to reconnect with your husband without feeling like you're the only one trying, or it sounds like I'm making that to be the case, I want you to basically join my free webinar, How to Reconnect with Your Husband Without Feeling Like You're the Only One. And when you sign up, like I mentioned before, I'll send you my free booklet. It's digital, Reconnect, a quick guide for wives who feel that they're doing it all. Now, I want to leave with this question. I want to challenge you and love to hear your thoughts. And by the way, if you've not yet subscribed, now's a good time to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. I would really appreciate that. So again, here's a question I want to leave on the table. Do you think husbands are shallow or caring about looks, or is it simply how God designed them? Not a trick question, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Maybe you might want to expand a little bit, and I would love to hear, and let's get into a conversation. So thank you for subscribing and hitting that thumbs up button. And I want you to watch this next video right here, where I'll show you how respect can reignite your marriage. See, a husband who is on fire for his wife and family worked umpteen hours just because he feels honored, respected, and visible in his home. It's amazing what they can do. So watch that video right here. Okay. With that said, Thank you for taking the time to watch. God bless you. And may your marriage flourish as you become the wife that God has called you to be, and your husband become everything that God intends for him to be. Remember, you are his helpmeet to make that possible. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out. God bless.